Hello, my little goblins. Today we have another special one. This time we're doing a deck that is specific to the event that's going on, which is the XZ Synchro deck. Something I will say about this, I actually had a lot of fun playing the deck, so I most likely will do a regular deck profile on it in the future. So what deck are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Ursarctic. Oh, wait, no, that's a Pokemon. Ursarctic. That's what it is. So it's these badass looking cards that are robots from space. They are the ugly cousin of Drytron, as they are kind of from the same pack, same ballpark, except they're not as good. Let's just say that. But they look pretty awesome. I will say that. And our boss monster looks fucking insane. So this boss monster is actually extremely strong. So if our opponent is playing anything like an XZ deck, they are not going to be able to pretty much play the game. This card ignores any effect that is done from a monster that does not have levels. And XZs count as rank, so it doesn't really... It'll negate that as well. The only unfortunate thing in this event is it's a synchro event too. So if your opponent's playing synchro summons, it's not unfortunately going to stop that. But there's other cards in the deck that helps. We have Grand Chariot, which can pop 2 cards on the field. And my favorite card in the entire deck is Ursarctic Radiation. So this card comes into the battlefield with 7 counters on it, and each time an Ursarctic monster is special summoned from the hand or extra deck, you can remove 1 counter from this and draw 1 card. This is not a once per turn effect. So there are turns where you can summon, let's say, 4, 5, 6 monsters with this on the field, and guess what? You're drawing 6 cards. So it's actually pretty nuts. It's really probably the best card in the deck. And if you open this card, it feels very hard to lose when you open this card. Now let's talk about the Ursarctic cards in general. All these cards, they're quick effects, so you can play them on your opponent's turn, and they all have things like this card. If you have another Ursarctic monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, flip it face down. So technically a Fairy Tale Snow effect. You have Majespecter, which is a remove a card from your opponent's graveyard, banish it. And then you have Megapolar, which can destroy a spell and trap. And then the rank 7s, they do stuff that help you. They don't do anything to your opponent. Like Mictanus allows you to grab a card from the graveyard. Megapolar lets you get a card from the deck. And Majespecter lets you special summon a card from your hand. So they all have their purpose. And token collectors in the deck, because the card's really, really good in this event. A lot of people playing Sword Soul. So yeah, we're going to play it. Now for the XZ cards, you can obviously put better ones, but I put some pretty generic ones. You don't really go into them that often. Because the Ursarctic cards, they have this effect where pretty much you can't go into anything besides Synchro Summon, really, when you special summon. But the way you do summon the XZ cards is, since there are quick effects, if your opponent goes first, you can special summon them on your opponent's turn. And then when it's your turn, you can go into like Dingirsu or Galaxy Eyes or number 38 or any of these cards. So that's how you go into the XZs for this deck. And we have some pretty cool combos here. But enough about that. Let's actually get into the deck and let's see some games, because that's kind of what you're here for, right? All right, we're here for game number 1, and let's look what happens here. We're going to be summoning Majespecter, because Majespecter lets us special summon a card from our hand. And then we go into this is a basic combo you'll do. All right, so this is a super basic combo you'll end up doing. Allows you to special summon the level 8, and then the level 8 and the level 1 make our Septentrion. Ursarctic Septentrion. Sounds kind of cool. We're gonna maxi. Our opponent Ashes. Our opponent's on some type of Pendulum strategy. Most likely Magicians, I assume, right? Performa, yep. Okay, so if you guys don't know anything about Performa, like, this card is insane. If they open up this card, it's very hard for you to win unless you deal with it very soon. The reason why is because they get permanent value. Every time a Pendulum leaves the field, they get to tutor a Magician Pendulum monster from their deck and add it to their hand, which is fucking insane. I grab Radiation here because I'm thinking in my head, I really need to just take over this game. That's simple as that. I need to be able to catch up in card advantage, which honestly this top deck of Token Collector is not really helping me. But we play the Radiation. So the reason why we played Radiation here, and honestly attacking was probably a poor decision on my part. If I could take that back, I probably would do that. So that was a misplay. Now our opponent is going to be able to add that back. So really did nothing, honestly. Now he's going to Pendulum Summon. So now we get to search. We're probably going to be searching for a monster so we can get the draw effect off. And here we go. Megatanus is really good for interrupting our opponent's plays here. So we already know he's trying to go for a Synchro Summon. So we want to use Megatanus to flip this face down, because this is only outlet to go. Because remember, if he goes into an XZ summon, he's a bozo. He's going to get bozoed on. Our card is bozo proof. So he sets Baguska in a card face down. I'm like, okay, bet. Honestly, here, I probably should have used Big Dipper to grab Baguska when he was summoned. And then I could have had Baguska on my side of the field. And then I could have dictated. Because now I get impermed and now I'm screwed. Honestly, this is like such a big imperm on his part. Also, we top deck horribly too, right? We top deck a Token Collector into Nibiru. Kind of fucking just bad. But now, look, he's going to be able to clear our board. This is going to do a board wipe. But I figure, you know what? Why don't we just grab the Supreme King and we can just... Everyone dies then. We're all dying together. Right? Pop goes the Weasel. Everything's gone. Again, see, he's getting so much value out of this Pendulum graph, and partly my fault because I gave him a free card earlier. So I definitely could have played this a lot better. I think if you get a lot of practice with this deck, I think you could definitely do some climbing with it. If it doesn't feel that bad, it really doesn't. It could definitely be a lot worse, and I feel like this boss monster is a lot stronger on ranked mode. Because you're dealing with a lot of people using link monsters and stuff like that. Like, imagine like Adventure Tenyi trying to like fucking combo off, trying to link climb into Auroradon or something while you have Tentrion on the field. They wouldn't be able to climb. Can't do anything. All right, so we use Departure. We put the Token Collector in the graveyard. Not needed. And here we go. We're gonna start pumping some shit. Radiation, not what you want to see. So if you guys don't know, you probably don't. Radiation, the way the card works, you can't actually, even if it's out of tokens, out of things, you can't play another Radiation. You can only have one on the field, so you have to pop it yourself, or you have to have an opponent pop it. Alrighty, so we're pretty much doing the biz. Pretty much trying to get as much value out of Radiation, you know. Squadron's not a bad draw. And we go into Septrion. And there's an argument for me to actually go into Grand Chariot, and I could pop both of these, attack. Then you would only have 4 cards. And I definitely think that's a valid choice too. These cards are so recursive, though. They always keep coming back. It's annoying, but I think that was probably a better play than doing what I did here. This Harpies sucks because we had Big Dipper ready to fucking steal a card. And now we're not going to be able to do it. The good thing is he did get rid of our radiation, so it's actually not too bad here. We're going to get Megatonus. And we're going to use some Megatonus' effect. Yeah, I really feel like going into the other card would have made more sense. But at the same time, I wouldn't have been able to do this play here where I flip this face down. I guess it didn't matter. Yeah, I 100% should have done that other play where I popped the both back row. Yeah, kind of rough. So, Baron, I actually try to protect the card here, but he can negate. So, we got the negate and the pop from him, which is actually good. But what I was pretty much trying to do, I was trying to synchro summon into Shen Shen. Because he was going to pop it anyway, so I was trying to save it. Then he goes into Arc Rebellion. Arc Rebellion, I don't know about. I mean, it's a good play, but he has really good cards in the graveyard. And now his Baron is permanently negated. So he's not going to be able to actually get that Draco. So here you're going to see something disgusting happen. And this is something I always want to make sure you guys know playing this deck. So I set up Radiation. So you have to really pay attention to how you're playing your cards. Because all your Ursarctic cards are quick plays. Like, they're all quick effects. So I accidentally, when I activated this card, I chained it to Megatanius. Which I did not mean to do. I meant to play this and then play this. Right? And now, doing that, I get no draw off Radiation, which is what I need, because I needed the top deck, which I had like an 80% chance of top decking, another Ursarctic card I could have pitched to this, and then possibly get out of this situation. I was going to be able to go into Chariot. I would have had the field spell out on the field again, and I would have drawn a few more cards. Really unfortunate, but as you see, I just scoop it up because I messed up the chain link. Kind of sucks, but it's a good lesson for all you guys watching. All right, here we are for game number 2. And playing against Sword Soul. Our hand's pretty stacked, though. We have some pretty good cards in it. So we're going to max C here. He has no answer, surprisingly. So he should either end his turn, and he's just going to go for it. So him going for it is completely fine. Remember, if he uses... You always have to remember, if your opponent uses Yugioh's search effect, that means he cannot negate. So always remember that, because that comes in pretty... It's pretty relevant, because now I don't have to worry about him negating my cards. The reason why I'm making plays here is he was going to actually end his turn. So him ending his turn, I was like, well, if this is a Sword Soul Blackout, I definitely want to pop that. So Mega Polar Bear pops the back row, and then this will flip down Yugioh. So when it's our turn, he cannot negate our Polar, the fucking stupid little teddy bear. You know what I'm talking about. MD then summons a... I'm not even going to pronounce it. He summons this card. So here I could go into a rank 8, but if I did that, he would just banish it. So definitely was not worth for me to do that. Instead, we're going to use Departure. We're going to set up our field. We're going to play Mikabilis. Mikabilis is going to activate. He's just going to activate the banish effect. Either way, he was going to have to do something because I'm summoning Megatanius. And Megatanius is going to be able to flip this face down. So either way, he had to react to that. Now we're able to go into Polary, which is pretty much going to be the beginning of the end for our opponent. And there we get the... It's really like a lot of math you kind of have to do when you're playing this. The archetype, when you first play it, will seem confusing, but it's really not that confusing. And now we have lethal on board. Bam. Easy cleanup of a sword soul. Bam, bam, bam. Remember, we had the good Max C start here, so that definitely helped out a lot, but you're gonna get it sometimes, you know what I mean? Hello, my little goblins, for game number 3. And speaking of goblins, we got Token Collector here. Beautiful little goblin. We're gonna grab our cards. We're pretty much gonna be doing the same combo you normally see me doing. Mikabilis is actually getting impermed, which is triggering. But that's life sometimes, you know? So now we're just going to activate. At this point, it doesn't really matter what level 8 we activate. But I actually, if you're playing against Ursarctic, you actually want to negate the Polari. Because the Polari is like how you do your combo. That's how you go into Septenian. So now we have this. Our opponent, Harpies, he smells like poop. And he's a jerk. But this is fine. This is fine. Because what we're going to be able to do here is we're going to be able to get Mictanius, right? And that is going to be able to grab our... Okay, that's annoying. So this is actually annoying. So he called by the graves that. But little do you know, our opponent is a goober, right? He's playing Sword Soul, and we have a fucking Token Collector in the graveyard. Like, what a goober. And that was just a funny game, right? We have a few funny games to show through this event. Hello, we're in for game number 4, I think. It's that or 3. I'm not sure anymore. But we're going to use Ursarctic Departure to start grabbing some good cards. And here we're going to be able to draw a few cards. Let's keep drawing. So this deck, I mean, I don't know. I love decks that let you draw a bunch of cards. I don't know. I'm a sucker for them. Really am. So now we're going to go in Polari. Polari is going to let us draw another card. We already drew 3 cards. We're doing a countdown here. We already drew 3 cards. Now when special summoned from the graveyard, you do not draw. So now we go to Septrinion. That's 4 cards drawn. And our opponent bureaus us. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. But we drew 4 cards already. This card is a net 3 so far. This fucking card. And now we summon another card. This card will let me grab something else. And now we have drawn 5 cards. 5 cards drawn from 1 card. Look at this. You go into a Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is going to pop his thing. Unfortunately, we're not going to have an answer with this Big Dipper. He's going to imperm. Here's a massive mistake I made that I didn't really realize I made until it was too late. My opponent imperms here. I should have max seed so I can protect if he has Ash or Called by the Grave with the Baron. Because it's getting impermed either way. So that's 100% what I should have done. But I honestly I didn't even notice it when I fucking was doing the play. But now he's going to go into Moye, and I'm going to go for the Maxi. He's going to have the answer for it with the Ash. See, I could have protected the Maxi with the Baron. We have the Called by the Grave anyway, right? So we do have the protection. But if our opponent was playing, let's say, Called by the Grave, guess what? We would just lost out on our Maxi. So, still pretty important. We draw a card, and then our buddy Token Collector is going to make our opponent concede. Oh, man. Hello, my goblins. This is game number 5. And our hand is rearing to go if our opponent's playing Sword Soul. Alright, so we're going to go with the Mega Polar. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter what you go into. I just love the art on these cards. Like, I really wish they were, like, way better. The art is just so cool. Who's with me? Let me know down in the comments if you think these art's sick. So I normal summon Collector. So if you guys don't know, the combo with this is I activate Hop Ear Squadron. So I synchro summon into Desert Locust. And then if our opponent's playing Sword Soul, Token Collector will bring itself back. Right? And then I could use Desert Locust to go into Baron de Fleur. So that's a combo that was originally there. Right? But this game is funny for a different reason. So our opponent plays Moye, then just plays Sword Soul Strategist. Like, he's just playing all these cards into the Token Collector, and then just concedes the game. And I was just so confused. Why, like, when he played Moye, did he not think that, like, I was going, like, did he not think that, oh, why is Moye not going off? So he instinctually just summons Long Yan anyway. I don't know. I thought it was funny, so I just wanted to include it. We have one more game to go, and then we got the recap. All right, guys. We're here for game number 6. Last game. Ooh, we got Departure in our hand. We get rid of that Big Dipper. We don't really need it. Mainly because we're looking to combo off. Mick Belis is coming out, and we're getting Gammaed. So, in this position, since all your cards are quick plays, and Mick Belis is getting Gammaed anyway, we can actually tribute Gamma to Mick Polar. And this will let us continue our combo. Good for you guys to know. And now we're going to be able to do this. Here, it doesn't really matter. Now we're comboing. I mean, I probably was greedy with this Maxi. I could have used the Maxi on the side frame, but I don't know. So many people playing like synchro-based decks and stuff like that. Like, Maxi's so strong against it. Like, Ecclesia, right? Like, you have to imagine Maxi's going to be good against that. Our opponent then activates triple tactics. I was a little confused by that, to be honest. But then I see he's playing Majestus. So, you know, I know how weird our opponent... This is... Oh, by the way, all these games are in Diamond. Like, you want to know how weird our opponent's deck is? They're playing Majestus, and Incredible Ecclesia is just there to be a tuner in the deck. Like, they actually don't use it for anything else. Which I thought was really strange. But our opponent's pretty much comboing off here. They're going to pop our Big Dipper, which is unfortunate. But we use the effect of Big Dipper first. And we flip the Incredible Ecclesia so he can't Synchro Summon. And now he goes into XZ. And he realizes his XZ doesn't work because of this. And we get the win. Oh, man. Alright, let's get into the recap. And we should be good. Welcome to the recap. And thank you for joining us this far. And I just wanted to say, please consider subscribing or joining our Discord or doing both. That'd be awesome. And following me on Twitch. I stream 3 days a week Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you guys like Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be the days. Tomorrow, we're actually doing a tournament. So stop by. It's a free tournament. Show your stuff, you know. Should be pretty fun. That all being said, I just wanted to say, this deck performed kind of how I expected it to perform. So, what did good in this deck? Well, Radiation was broken. This card single-handedly is insane. This card actually makes the deck not as horrific as I thought it would be. If this card did not exist in the deck, it would be probably one of the worst decks I've ever seen. But since it does, you get to draw so many cards from it, it's actually not that bad. I like how the deck has a lot of interaction with your opponent, you know what I mean, with Mega Polar Bear, Mega Tannis, and Mega Billis. I also like the fact that this card is insanely strong against any deck that was running an XZ strategy. This card just absolutely decimated them. Like I played against a Utopia deck and they just sat there and they were like confused on what they were supposed to do. It's pretty damn good in my opinion. Chariot also very good card. I wish I used it more. A lot of the times, a lot of our games, our opponents would just concede once they know they had no out to Septentrion. So once we played this card, like our opponents would just concede if they had no outs to this. So it made some of the games a little boring. I tried to pick the most interesting ones. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That all being said, how'd the deck do? That's the important part. So the deck did kind of how we expected to do. We went 12-8. So we had a 60% win rate? Quick maths. That's not that bad. I mean, we're in Diamond, so you have to remember everyone I play against is a insanely smelly tryhard nerd. Like most of the people I play against are using decks that they're using like standard like Sword Soul decks or standard Numeron decks or something like that. So I mean those games aren't very interesting to watch to begin with. Like getting Numeron like OTKO'd, how's that interesting to watch? You just die. You know what I mean? Not much you could do when someone kaijus you and then plays Numeron Network. You know, real interesting gameplay. Yeah, I mean 60% still pretty good in Diamond in my opinion. That means you're still climbing with it. But like I said, I feel like we need to we need to redo this and then do it for specifically for ranked games. Because I think that would be really interesting. But a lot of fun though. Deck is definitely a lot of fun. I think this build I have has like a good foot forward when it comes to making the retail portion or the ranked version. I don't know why I keep saying retail. I don't know why. I think it's because I've been playing too much World of Warcraft and there's retail WoW and classic WoW and I keep saying retail. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I do apologize for it. What do I list on a tier scale? So the tier is going to be a little weird because this is a tier scale based on the event. I think this is probably like a rogue tier. I mean, it's definitely not like a tier 1 or anything like that. That belongs to Sword Soul completely. Sword Soul and some of the Synchron decks, like obviously that belongs. The title belongs to them. But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely the most fun out of the decks I've seen there. Because to be honest, I feel like Sword Soul gets a bit stale. Especially since it's kind of the same thing over and over. I guess this is kind of the same thing over and over, though. Like, if you think about it, you're basically just trying to go into Super Power Ranger Space Bearman, and you hope your opponent has no outs to it. Yeah, the extra deck could use some work. I would say if you have better rank 8s, like if I had... I have drag, like number 97. I have drag, but I don't have number 100. So if you have number 100 and number 97, I would put that in the deck and probably just take out the zombie vampire and this number 23. So take these two out, put in number 97 and number 100, and that's the extra deck I think would be the most ideal extra deck. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And remember, subscribe if you haven't. Bye.